Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining. I'm here with David Meakin from SHOPLINE. David, do you want to give a short intro to yourself?
Hi everyone, great to meet you. I'm David. I'm the commercial director at SHOPLINE. We're an e-commerce platform headquartered out of Singapore, and we power 600,000 live brands, lots of which you'll know, but I'm sure we'll talk about them in a minute.
Awesome. Thank you, David. And we also have on my side, we have George, our head of growth, and my side, Lukas, head of partnerships. Okay, David, our two companies are partnering for quite a while now, and we have a big project in the back end, which is pretty exciting. It would be great to know on your side, since you run the partnerships team, and also besides the commercial part, is how does a typical day-to-day look like in partnerships, and what are you looking for from a Shopline perspective when it comes to partnerships?
I think we partner with lots of different types of partners, so it depends on what's happening. No 2 days are the same. We've got a few very strategic agency partners that do lots of things for us, so lots of project meetings and account mapping meetings and business development stuff. We will partner with, really importantly, I think it makes us unique in the e-commerce platform space, Lukas. We partner with only best of breed technologies. In another one of our competitors' marketplaces, there's 10,600 apps. A lot of them are a bit rubbish. And so we partner with only the best ones so we can provide growth for our merchants, right? So there's lots of technical meetings and value add meetings. It all has to be about value. So to answer the question, I guess no 2 days are the same, but definitely they're based on those principles.
Gotcha. Follow-up question to that. When I started in partnerships, did you, on your side, analyze a certain way? What partners are you looking for from a, as you said, like a value adds or something you can build together with certain partners? I think from our perspective, we are more like a technology partner, of course, down the road. So we could help your system being integrated into others, like on the client side. How did you first approach looking at where potentially partnerships could be useful on the Shopline side?
We have a technical team that helps evaluate which ones are the most used ones, why people are using them, how that fits with our 3 core ICPs, which are super well defined. And what we've done with those different verticals is work out what are the industry challenges in fashion, for example, and in health and beauty and in home and garden. They have particular things that merchants could do better. So we've basically evaluated which ones we really want to go for. And for those technology partners, we work with them very strategically and open our book and tell them who our customers are and try to actually sell that technology. Obviously, some of our customers ask for specific ERPs or particular email marketing platforms, and we partner with the industry's most used ones and industry's most innovative ones. But importantly, not everyone. If I give you 10 email service providers, you won't really know much difference between 3 of them.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think when it comes to that, you touched on a couple of points also in the beginning. When you start exploring what partnerships you potentially want to go deeper into, what are you looking for when you identify the company? What is the key metrics that you're looking for when you evaluate a partnership? And I think maybe following up that, of course, how do you define success?
Sure. I guess the first thing we look at, whether it's a technology partner or an agency partner, how capable are they to actually support the growth of our existing merchant base? We've got a lot of customers, probably the 5th largest SaaS-based e-commerce platform in the world. And those brands are asking, some of them are basically have very ambitious goals for how they can grow in the future. And so are they actually capable of delivering the features and innovating really quickly? If they had a historic merchant base, but haven't delivered anything in a little while, then maybe there's someone out there that's a better fit. So looking at how big their development teams are, who their CPO is, what the vision is, and from an agency perspective, do they have the design skills, or do we need to partner maybe an independent consultant who does that better? What's their capability is the first one, and how confident they are of achieving those goals, and maybe how confident we are that they're going to work and collaborate with us really, really well. Then how consistent they are in partnering with us and understanding our values as well. We have very strong core values around supporting our customers and making them grow. And so, yeah, they have to provide confidence to us and vice versa, that we can be consistent and actually deliver and say what we're going to do, what we say we're going to do, which is, I guess, probably the most important value in partnerships. Yeah. And the last one is communication. I guess you can't have the other C's, if you like, unless you communicate really, really well. And I think when we're speaking directly to our brands and the merchants that are live on our platform, we've got an army of developers in Singapore and all over the world that develop new features in the core of our platform. So when they ask us for a feature, we can move really quickly and be very agile. That's our biggest unique selling point. So, Lucas, we don't have to fob people off with apps and horrible third-party workarounds to make that happen properly in a platform that has another 600,000 brands live. And so we don't break anything. Communicate exactly what we want to do is very important. And we look for that in our partners as well.
Yeah, any side, either their client-side partnership, especially communication is key. That's the one thing that actually builds and keeps trust. We didn't talk about the question at the beginning, but I would love to see, how do you keep up communication with partners? Like, there's a lot of things from a sequence of meetings. There's a thing of, we give our partners, especially when we work with the sell side together, direct access over Slack. Like, what did you find for yourself? What is the key for you to keep communication at a high level with partners?
We use Slack as well. I'm more of an email guy personally, or WhatsApp. If you really want me, you have to go on WhatsApp actually, and then I'll probably reply. Although I'm sure I've got messages by someone who's watching this. But I guess when we started, we didn't really have some of the infrastructure that you need for a partner program. It was only 2.5 years ago or something like that. So still relatively new to the market. And we didn't have some of the things that other partner people say is absolutely essential. There was like a few partner people hired globally at the same time. And they were all talking about PRMs. What partner portal tool have you got? I don't really want to go to my partner who's got a lead and say, oh, but you must put it in the PRM, in the partner portal. It's just not really cool. If I'm running an agency, or if I have my own iPaaS solution, and I say to you, oh yeah, but please register the lead in the PRM, it's not great. And I used to be at another e-commerce platform, not sure if I'm waffling, but another e-commerce platform, and the partner person would basically say, have you got any leads? And they'll say, yeah. And they say, okay, can you register them in the partner portal? And then that would go through to Salesforce. And then it would be me as a solution engineer and an account executive who would close the deal. And then the partner person would get all the commission. That's not fair. At least you have to do a bit of admin.
Yeah, I was about to say, we don't use it as our PRM. We're too small for that, but I got also invited to certain other ones. And unless it's keeping track of a different pipeline, which we all have our own CRMs also already internally, and if you integrate them, great. But otherwise, I don't understand a lot of communication, right? You have a person on the other side that you can call or quickly Slack, or if you prefer email or WhatsApp. And that's what I think keeps up the communication and also allows to move fast, right? I think the PRM I get it for bigger orgs, like once they have different times or like they have to monitor more things from a higher level perspective, I get that. And also if they have thousands of partners.
And with full transparency, we're getting to that stage now. As we expand that partner program, as we go into more of a reseller model for partnerships, yeah, definitely some of that stuff has to be self-serve, like paying the commission and doing analytics on how many leads worked, were they a good fit or not. There is a need for that. Yeah. But definitely, there's nothing actually is better than picking up the phone or speaking a bit more personally.
I agree.
Slack has been the single biggest reason our partners like us so much is the fact that they can get hold of us in probably less than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
With the lead. Like, I think if we start telling the AEs who bring us integration requests that they need to start going to a portal of some kind, and there'll be the 6 to 8 hour wait time, I don't think this partner program would be as successful as we found it to be.
Sure. So. But even just outside of partner programs, general customer success, you should be able to, in the end, speak to the person who's building the product or who is like understanding the product, because they may not know the answer as well, but at least they can go and find the answer. And we're not at the point where an AI chatbot can overcome that problem. Like at the moment, we still need to speak to a human and persuade them why this feature is so important or why this thing is so great. So yeah, it's not just to do with partnerships.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
The interesting thing with us is, I think, because we're such an AI native company, a lot of partners come to us and, their rhetoric is they're talking about partnering with more AI first companies because they themselves are trying to figure out what they look like in an AI era. And we were chatting with someone recently and they said they were leading partnerships at a company today. They'd be single-handedly focusing on partnering with AI native companies because bridging that gap is challenging. And you mentioned customer success, which I feel like is the one place where everybody's talking about AI at the moment. Curious how Shopline is approaching partnerships with kind of a lot of these AI first or AI native companies that are coming up in the commerce space. Like, I feel like you've seen everything from like Decagon in customer success all the way down to a suite of new, like attempting to be Shopify competitors, all claiming to have a thread of artificial intelligence in there. So curious if the last couple of years has changed your partnership strategy in any way as a result of that.
I think it has, but actually we had a lot of that strategy before AI was that important. Like, it seems not that long ago, actually, where not many people were talking about AI. I used to work for a search and merch company called Attract, which is acquired by Crown Peak, and they were doing AI like way ahead of the time, where we worked with companies. I'm not sure who I can name drop, but like definitely 20% of the top brands in the UK use this tool. And they had what they called algorithm cocktails, where basically you can have your own data science team, which write their own LLMs, and you can basically layer on top LLMs and do A/B tests on which ones work better. At Shopline, we definitely are one of those. We're an AI-first e-commerce platform. We have a heavy amount of core components that on other platforms, like you mentioned, the Big Green Monster, they would be apps basically for things that shouldn't really so much be apps. So our whole approach from an ecosystem perspective is less apps, and AI only really works when you've got the data to power those user journeys and the LLMs, right? So because of the way our product is architected and the fact that you need less apps, those AI agents can actually understand a lot more about the cohesive picture of what the customer should be doing when it's writing new content or creating your promotion strategy or your membership strategy or reporting or whatever it is. Basically, you've got to feed that data properly. So from a product perspective, I think we're definitely ahead of the game on that. Internally, like, we are looking at some of those tools that you mentioned to get rid of some of the admin, but not to replace humans actually, but we're a lean team. And we want them to go and see their customers and do some of the things actually that partnership people do all the time, the fun stuff that customer service people should be doing as well, where it actually makes it easier to cross-sell and upsell new features and get the growth which we're looking for by being face-to-face, because they're not stuck in front of Salesforce filling out forms.
That is a good point. I think final question, and I think a more personal one besides Shopline. If you would start again in partnerships, and this is a question we usually ask other partnership leaders as well, if you start again from scratch with partnerships, or you would give, either you receive good advice or you would give advice, what are maybe your top 3 things that you would start doing literally to someone that just thinks about exploring partnerships for themselves?
I think in our industry, I'll be a little bit controversial. There's not many great partnership people. And like, my view is that like, definitely I've got a more technical background. So I came to partnerships from a bit of a weird area where, I was a solution engineer for another platform. And then before that, I was running projects for really big international brands, re-platform projects. So I came to it from a bit of a weird perspective. But I think you don't have to be technical. You don't have to be a developer. But you really do have to understand what your product is doing and why it is good. Not just a marketing spiel about it, but like why it's better. I've seen you guys on the project, and just the quality of the experience is great. And you just can't provide that if you're just a partnership person and your job is to get leads or to do a little bit of a blog or a webinar or something. That's just not enough, actually, right? So I think anyone who's thinking about getting into partnerships should either experience customer success when it's been sold and maybe the client's not happy, or what is the heat of the pitch? What is that actually like? If you don't understand that, I don't think you can be a good partnership person. So you should experience it somehow.
Yeah, I fully agree. I don't come from like you as technical solution engineer. I come more from a solution consultant kind of role from Accenture and Porsche. And I agree, understanding the core product at least high level and where it differentiates between competitors is the one big thing. But also being honest about where partnerships can enhance your own product, right? I mean, for us, it's a bit different, already in between products, but especially from our partner side, when we sit together and identify them, they're pretty honest about where they are, I don't want to say lacking, but where they want to improve. And they try to fill those gaps with partners.
Yeah, very agree.
All right. I think we have a couple good questions here. David, I appreciate the time and
Yeah.
going through all of this.